All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Somebody has been removed from the call. Let him just rejoin. Then. Okay. Who else is going? Mr. Samuel Obi. Please go ahead, sir, and just introduce yourself to us, where you're joining this call from, and what you do, so that we can proceed to the next stage. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for that. My name is Sam Obi. I'm joining from Chicago. I'm the founder of Simplified IQ, a edtech platform that makes it completely easy to create and grade tests automatically within minutes. Um, and yes, I'm glad to be here because I'd like to hear what men have to say and how we can support each other and move forward in the right direction.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, next person here is Mr. Niyi Ola Deinke. I hope I got that pronunciation correctly. I'm not a native Yoruba. Please forgive me. But please go ahead, sir. Okay. So I don't know if you are speaking. We can't really hear you. Go ahead, sir. Hello. Hello, Mr. Niyi. We can't really hear you. So I don't know if maybe you could repeat yourself. Okay. All right. So I don't know if Mr. Eni is having some issues with his internet connection. I guess maybe that is it. That's why we can't hear him. But Mr. Eni, please, as soon as you can introduce yourself to us, we really appreciate it. We really want to meet you to join Kaufman what you do. Okay. Till I throwing. Hello, can everybody hear or see me?
Yes, I can hear and see you.
Oh, it's okay from my own end. Okay. Yes. So without any further ado, okay. Okay, yes, without any further waste of time, let's probably get into the meat of the show. We have so many more people joining because we have about, I think, about 34 people that actually registered for that actually, yes, that registered for this particular meeting. So let's just carry on and hopefully they get to join in the conversation as we proceed. Okay, I'm going to introduce our panelist for today. His name is Mr. David. Of course, most of us, like I said, in the tech space, right, know him as DLM. I mean, DLM is a force to be reckoned with. And first of all, I want to say how great the privilege it is for someone like me to actually be friends with DLM. We've only met a couple of times, I think twice physically, right? But of course, we are communicating on always communicating online, talking about startup, we're talking about my venture and things that we could do together, collaborations and everything. And of course, the moment I reached out to him about this particular meeting, and oh, my big boss, let's get together and have this conversation because I believe that you have a very very interesting life journey um very interesting life journey yourself, and so it's something that you're sharing your own journey would actually inspire us and we can learn from. Is the managing partner at First Founders Network. First Founders Network is a I mean, First Founders Network is a lot of things, but I would say it's a venture studio. Basically, it helps businesses, Nigerian businesses, startups, particularly in the tech space, to create strategy, to launch, to raise funds, to everything that they need to come out successful in the Nigerian tech space. That's what First Founders does, and He has been part of the success story of many startups in Nigeria and across Africa as well. And Mr. David Lanre Messan, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that you could also still do some more introductions of yourself, sir. If I didn't do enough justice, I'm sure I didn't do enough justice, because if I was to trust me, that is very, very young, and we would not really leave this place. But of course, this meeting is being streamed on YouTube as well, so we're going to be having some YouTube audience as well. So it's not just us here on this Google Meet. So DLM, sir, if you would be so kindly as to come on board and let's have this discussion. And let's I'm going to be leading this discussion, but just give us a little bit of rundown your bio, right? I mean, because I know I didn't do it, sir. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Coach Atta. I don't know if you all can hear me. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I just needed to confirm that I can be heard, because sometimes I get into sessions and I talk and talk and talk, only for me to hear that we didn't hear anything that you said. And I'll be like, wow, that's going to take me to 0 back to 1, you know? So, all right. First of all, I want to say thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much for organizing this kind of unusual event or session. And that's simply because you have looked at a very, very, queer sect to elevate and to get to discuss and give that recognition. And I'm hoping, first, I feel a bit sad that I'm coming very early in this kind of show, because I already have a picture of how this show is going to become. It's going to be very big. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So first off, I already have a very clear picture of this show. It's going to be a very big one. I see it becoming a very big time TV show, a podcast show. I see it becoming something much more, because the issues of men have been under, discourse in the world generally, especially in Africa. So, but then just to do a very quick introduction of myself, my name is David Lanre Messan. People call me DLM. I've spent 16 years in the ecosystem, first as a strategist working with SMEs, and I've worked with over 250 SMEs, raised over $10 million for them in the SME sector. And when technology began to take shape in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, with the advent of CC Hub and all of that, I played in that space as a strategist still, working with, founders, business leaders, and all of that. And then in 2020, I was able to successfully set up a venture studio, which has remained at the forefront of engendering, operational efficiency and capital efficiency as a strategy to curbing the issues of startup shutdown. And that's simply because we realized that a lot of startups, come into the scene, but without understanding the very tenet of how to, run their startups from an operational and capital efficiency point of view. And that's one thing that First Founder is trying to do. The community is a subsect of First Founders, which we call First Founders Network. And of course, that has also helped us to gain more popularity, because we have over 1,000 members in that community. But then First Founder was his first adventure studio. And in that ecosystem, I've also supported a lot of startups through fundraising, through ideations, product development, and most importantly, helping to shape the ecosystem in general. I hope that that's, seems like an introduction that can still be taken. There's a lot more, but of course, we leave it at that so we can dive deep into the very core of these conversations, because I'm pretty much very excited about it.
Fantastic. Yes. That's a very it's quite in depth, very short and brief manner. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So I guess let's probably kick this off first of all by hearing about your own interesting life journey first of all. I mean, because this is probably the core of what we're trying to discuss, which is like fear of missing FOMO. And as someone that has done all this, I would like to hear your opinion, your on FOMO first of all, and instances in your life when you actually faced it. Like basically questions we're asking yourself at some points where, like, will I actually ever get to this point? Will I actually ever hit that pinnacle? Right. So I wanted to start with sharing your journey. There, from there, we can now follow up with some one or two questions here and there.
Well, I don't know if 1 hour will be done enough for this, but I'll try to make it very interesting and very punchy because I can tell it to you
Yeah, sure. Thank you
categorically
so
that
much.
you brought one of the right guys to your show. And I will be very, very open minded. It's a no holds barred situation.
Yes.
And I'm going to start from the very beginning. And a lot of things I'm going to
Okay.
say today might be a little bit controversial. Some will be very realistic, but for everyone listening today, I want you to see more or less like the story of a guy that has been the product of failure and has failed many times, just like the snake and ladder. You climb the ladder, you see the picture, and the snake beats you by the leg. Then you have to go back down to the bottom of that ladder and you start climbing again. And this is where the fear of missing out begins to play a reality check on you as a human being, as a leader, and as someone who's got dreams that you want to accomplish. You understand? So I will start again from the beginning. So for me, I've always been very, very um, ambidextrous in nature. And this discovery came about when I was 9 years old. So that's to say that I got clarity about who I was going to become when I was nine. And everything that I've become today was because I had that clear picture from when I was nine. I understood that on the very premise of purpose, I understood that I've always been a problem solver, but this time around, not solving problems for myself, but solving problems for people. Even though most of the times in solving problems for people, I've got to put myself in a lot of problems. You understand? But that's by the side. So grew up trying to understand the structure around how exactly I'm going to solve problems for people. And by the way, in between all of that, let's note that I was born to a teacher. My father is now a retired teacher, but was a teacher at that time and has a very wonderful library that I built myself from. So as a child, I was a very smart guy, growing up in that space of books, in the space of books and intelligent conversations. And my mom was or is still a businesswoman, doing business as a local businesswoman. So when it comes to creativity and trying to be visionary, trying to be intelligent, and trying to be somebody that could dream, I learned all of that from my father because one thing my father did was to teach us how to dream, how to be curious in life, and most importantly, how to be able to write on the pace of purpose and vision. And all of this sort of gave me some clarity. Then on my mom's end, I learned entrepreneurship. I understood the accountability behind having to do the game of numbers and having to create value and how having to pivot. I've seen my mommy do business selling fish and then fish business. There was a time there was no more fish in the river where she used to go get fish from to sell. She had to pivot into selling pop-off. You understand? Because she had to keep moving. As she kept moving like that, she pivoted from selling pop-off to doing farming, because she needed to continue to serve, contribute that value to the ecosystem that he was trying to serve as at that time. And for me, it was a great learning experience for me as a person. Now, this is it. Having to go to school, because I was very, very smart, very smart. I didn't do primary three. I was so smart that they thought that from primary two, I was already doing what primary four guys were doing. So my father just moved me from primary two to primary four. And I went to primary four, I became first in class because I had to come first. So when I went to primary, they were scared that, we hope you'll be able to deal, we hope you won't struggle. But I never struggled. I became first in that class that the teacher looked at me and was like, who is this guy? From primary four, I went to primary five. Primary five, I went straight into secondary school. And it was in secondary school that I began to understand the true reality of life because now at that point, my father was broke. He wanted to send me to a school called Beautiful Gay, which was one of the first private schools at that time in an area called Ejigbo. And but he couldn't afford it, so he said, "Hey, guy, you are going to go to a school called Mushin High School." Went to Mushin High School. I started juggling between learning vices and learning how to survive as a student. But because I already went into school with brilliance, you know, I could pass to the point where in all of the things that happened to me in school, learning different vices and all of that, I I ended up being from everybody that we used to roll together then, gambling, going to swim during school hours, because those things were very interesting to me because they never happened to me before. And which is one of the reasons why I always say that it's important for young men to go through preparatory classes from primary school to secondary school and from end of secondary school to university and from end of university to school because there is a difference between learning academic skills and learning social skills or what we call life skills. Because the coping mechanisms around life in itself is influenced by a different kind of concepts, which is not academical in nature. Because the concept of academics kind of put books, process information, process in your head that kind of makes you intelligence. But how do you apply intelligence to daily life living in itself has a lot to do with you learning life skills. Now, once that gap exists in your life, you know what begins to happen? You begin to apply all skills that do not apply to real life situation to what you are doing. And guess what? It messes your life up. And that happened to me as a person. But this is it. In between all of that, I grew up still because I was very brilliant. I grew up, now struggling between having to learn how to sustain my academic life. I was still doing well in school, but at the same time, I was being influenced by certain vices that I learned from my classmates who were in school. Unfortunately, many of them didn't make GSS 3. I was the only one amongst all of them that made GSS 3. And that's because I would have also failed. But I didn't fail because there's a culture in my house where when you come back from school after doing all your chores, you must read for at least 2 hours before you sleep. So when I pick my bag, all I do is to read for that 2 hours. And it was the things that I was reading at home and within that 2 hours that helped me to pass my GSSC exams into SS1. Now, talking about fear of missing out, I want to skip to when I finished school. I became a millionaire at the age of 23. Things were doing fine, going fine, and I was doing very well. I was catching up with life the way I should catch up. 23 years old. I was riding one of the best cars, BMW 5 Series that I bought with my money. You know, just doing fine and all of that. And then something hit me. I was duped of all the money by the time I was 25, which means that 2 years into my life of success, I was hit by guys that duped me. Who are these guys? They were guys that I met in a club or in a network called Junior Chambers International. And because they knew I was rich, one of the things they did was to say I should join a millionaires club. So I joined the millionaires club. And what was the goal of this millionaires club? They asked me that, hey, come, when you join our club, you will make more money because we are going to introduce new businesses to you and all of that. In the quest to want to make more money, and this is where purpose plays a lot of role, which I'll talk about. In the quest of wanting to make a lot of money, I put all the money that I had into that network because they wanted to do a business. And I lost everything. And that was the very first time in my life that I was hit by depression. Depression hit me so bad that I never did anything. All the money I had finished. I was living in Ikoyi then. That 20 naira looked like luxury to me. A guy that used to have 35 million in his account is now worshiping 20 naira in 1990, in 2009. And that taught me something. What did it teach me? It taught me that as a man, when you discover something about your life and it's bringing you success, do not in any way try to experiment with it until you have stabilized it. I never stabilized my source of income. I was looking for more ways to make money. And guess what? What I should have stabilized, I put it into another new concept that I never understood. So that got lost. So first, when you are just making money in business, do not in any way put money in what you don't understand. And number two, until you are stabilized with that source of income. Even if it could take you 3 or 5 years, you could stabilize it in such a way that, and what I mean by stabilizing it is that you make that money and use that money to continue to expand that same thing that you are doing until when you know that even if you lose money, you will continue to make money. Now, I was making money, but I've not masterminded the process of making that money. I went to put that same money into another place. So when I lost money, I lost control of how to make money in that same space. And that led to depression for 1 full year of my life. And it was then that I lost myself. I lost my identity. I lost my personal value. I lost my own mental state of mind. I began to adopt the mental state of mind of other people. I began to look stupid to people. My brilliance, my intelligence was there. It existed. But I could not bring it out because I'm afraid. I was like, man, I failed before with this same style. So if I bring out myself, maybe this will make me feel. Let me be following people's shadows. And I began to follow people's shadows. I followed people's shadows from 2010 when I got a bit of myself until 2014. 4 years of my life, I was following shadows. That was the period when I was selected as World Economic Forum. You know, outside I looked so great. Everybody was shouting, "Yeah." But inside, I was not me. It was all shadows. I was doing things that were global, international, all of that, but there were several battles that I had to battle inside of myself because of I lacked the pathway into knowing my proper self. And that in itself made me to begin to think that it is until I find validation with other people before I will know who I am. Meanwhile, guess what? I knew who I was from the beginning. But because I had the first failure, I thought who I was no longer in existence. And because of that, I began to continue to lose myself just for the fear of missing out. I don't want to miss out. Let me follow people. I don't want to miss out. Let me follow people. I don't want to miss out. Let me not bring out my real self. I don't want to miss out. Let me go in this direction. Oh, this is the direction everybody's going. Let me follow them so that I don't know if I go and follow my own way. Maybe I will fail. And that fear of missing out endangered me. It made me to develop characters that were not mine. There was a point in my life where I became violent because I just felt that, and that was not me. And when I expressed that, after that situation, I go back and like, man, DLM, this is not you. Why are you doing this? Must this be you? Why would you fall for this kind of thing? But then again, I would say, one part of me would say, well, you have to adapt to it. It is who you are now. Adapt the new you. All because of the fear of missing out. So a few things I used to tell people that are mentor, I'll tell them. I say, one thing you must never do in life is never, no matter what you go through, never ever lose yourself. Because the moment you lose yourself, you lose everything. I lost everything. I began to lose money. I began to lose girlfriend. I began to lose everything that has to do with my life. I lost even my purpose just because of the fear of missing out. And that's also because I lost myself. Never, ever, never lose yourself. So when things happen to you, no matter how bad they are, first of all, grab yourself. Grab yourself and put yourself together and say, come, this is me. This must not even fall to the ground. I might lose everything around me, but I must not lose myself because it is from yourself that you will be able to refine yourself, and you will be able to refire yourself. You refine yourself, and refire yourself. Because this is what happens. The moment something happens to you, it subjects you to refining yourself because what has happened to you is no longer in conformity with where you are going to. So what you have to do, you have to refine. When you refine, you refined. When you refine yourself, refining yourself simply means that now you have lost something. You have to refine it. When you find that thing, you refire. You refire yourself to continue on the same path. And this is where I always tell men, 4 things are very important as you journey in life. Because the society has conformed us to think in a particular way, we always subject ourselves to society. You must never lose essence of your purpose. My purpose in life is to help people succeed. It's the reason why I'm running First Founder today. I created the community so that people can succeed together. I've never had to monetize anything within that group today. First Founders as a company in itself is to help people to build their businesses to succeed. Every single thing that I've done. Second is that you must have a vision. And knowing fully well that your purpose must not change. And not, see, the beautiful thing about purpose is that it does not change. It does not change because it is who you are. And the moment you lose who you are, everything messes up. That is when you begin to see entertainment people, you follow them. God called you. Your purpose is to empower people in entrepreneurship. You see entertainment people, you go and do entertainment. You see people that are doing bricklayer, you go and do with them. You see people that are doing, anybody you just see because you don't even know who you are anymore. But when you know who you are, even when you fail, you remain there because you know that it is a journey. After your purpose is your vision. After vision is clarity. After clarity is consistency. But guess what? Clarity is the only reason why your purpose will remain constant and your vision will remain dynamic. It is only clarity that will enable you to remain consistent in the midst of failure. And the moment I woke up to that reality, guess what happened? By the time I woke up to who DLM is, after I've lost myself, guess what has happened? It was already 2019. DLM has done politics, DLM has done entertainment, DLM has done entrepreneurship. All my mates have moved. Debola Williams moved. Chude Gideon one moved. Theo Sakele moved. All my mates moved. Tolu Ogulesi moved. All my mates, you see the names I'm mentioning, they are all up there today, but I'm not below them. All my mates that we all started together, that we were winning awards. I was one young African leader. They took us to Ghana. They took us all these places. And as they were moving, they moved so far. Guess what? People that were behind them moved and passed me. And now, I'm not left to doing one thing. Either I give up or I accept my reality and continue moving in my way. Now, I have to ask myself, Lanre, now that you have found yourself as a man, what do you do? Pick up yourself, take your purpose, envision it, and build steadily, consistently. You have to block your ears to what people say about you. People will disrespect you. People will make you feel bad. Some people who are not even your mates. There are so many people that are not my mates because they've moved past me. They are in places of great decisions. They put me in a lobbying situation where I have to lobby and they still try to control me. And that is what I've come to do. I came to the point where I'm like, I will not subject myself to that control. Because the fear of missing out can subject you to people controlling you. When you remain focused and you are clear about what it is that you represent, what it is that you need to do, guess what? Just remain consistent. That is the fourth one. Remain consistent in what you are doing. And what that does for you is that it puts you in a place where your purpose remains a sacrosanct aspect of your life. And guess what? Nobody can treat it because you have not submitted to them. And because I've not submitted to those people, guess what? They decide to slow me down. They will not approve some things. Some of them will gather against me. Some of them will do things that will make me feel bad. To even make me look bad. But the DLN that I know that I've rediscovered is refired. It remained consistent because now his vision is dynamic and very clear. And he has strong clarity that what he's doing is real. And he kept focused on it and kept moving. The reality is that things will shoot at you as a man. And because you are a man, there are several things you have to deal with, especially for me, for example, I'm the firstborn of my family. There are expectations. There are things that needs to happen. My younger brother is richer than me now. And your family will come. I want to make your younger brother the head of the family. you know, because now what they believe is the concept of success is no longer purpose to them, but the money that you provide in fulfilling their needs. And then your younger brother will come as a billionaire that he is, and I begin to say, you know what? All the family lands that we have, I want to register them in my name. But what I will do is that when you need land, let me know. And because you don't have the money to even register the land, you cannot say anything. You have to keep quiet and watch. But one thing is this. The fear of missing out in that kind of situation can make you now begin to worship your younger brother. If you don't know who you are, you begin to worship your brother and begin to kneel down for your brother, and then you will begin to call the shot. But because I knew who I was, I said, no problem, register you don't have to keep anything. I will not even ask you. Don't worry, take them. But I know that I'm a landowner naturally. And we have lands. And remain consistent. See, let me tell you, the truth is that as a man, if you don't know who you are, people will give you crumbs of bread when you actually deserve bread. You have to be very clear. Yes, of course, there are some people who are not clear about where they have no clarity as to the journey. They lose themselves continuously till they die. But I got to that point where I no longer have to lose myself. I've gotten myself. I've refound myself. And that in itself requires a strong will. If you are not strong-willed, you won't be able to conquer those kind of situations because you would think there is no longer an option. And truthfully, at that point, there will be no option. But guess what? When you are in that space of no option, one thing you must learn to do is to go back to yourself. Who am I? I always ask myself, who are you, Larry? I never fall for that shit, man. This is who you are, Larry. Must you fall for it? No, that is not who you are. This is who you are. Sometimes it comes with the pain. Sometimes it comes with tears. But if you remain consistent with who you are, trust me, you will rise like ashes out of the phoenix. I mean, like a phoenix out of the ashes. You will rise. And when you rise, every single person that has looked at you and submitted your condition due to the fear of missing out will come for you. They will come around you. But what will happen at that point is that you will be able to call the shots. Just like the case of Mandela. Mandela was given so many conditions when he was in prison. He was told that, okay, we'll release you if you can come out and deny your people. We will do this to you if you can do this. Even his wife, at some point, messed up because they no longer believe him. But guess what Mandela did? For the fear of missing, I never submitted to FOMO. And when he came out, did he not call the shot? He called the shot. He called the shot. It's one of the reasons why he's the most respected African leader in the world today. I was in the UK and I saw a gigantic Mandela statue. People always go there and go and have fun. And I was like, yes, this is a man that has shown to the world that he will never submit to the fear of missing out. And this is the case with a lot of Nigerian leaders. They've submitted to the fear of missing out. And guess what? They conditioned them. That is why their name is not in strong global history books. But it comes with pain. Did the Mandela not go through the pain? He went through that pain. He went through it. But he remained consistent. He remained focused on the reason why he exists. And that alone changed the game. I've lost money. I've lost people's money. But my purpose remained very consistent. So people even want to, sometimes you do certain things and people look at you and be like, you're a stupid person. I have had to do business where I collected money from people and I lost that money. And they called me names. But because I didn't lose myself, I continue to move. I continue to move because I know that I did not lose that money because I want to lose it. I lost it because I am an outlier. I'm a disruptor. I want to do something different. And in the process of having to do something different, as crazy as it was, I want to make those people happy. But guess what? The happiness did not come after that period. But of course, I understand because money is involved. The moment money is involved, there's a sense of emotions that comes to that investment. And that is why when people invest money or give you money, you should always ask them. That's one thing I've learned to do. I always ask them, Are you investing this money in me, or you're investing it for yourself? Those who invest money in you will not fight you when you lose money, because they know who you are. They know you have not lost yourself, you have only lost money. They know you can generate it back. But those who invest for themselves will ask you back. They will fight you. And they will not understand. And if you look at those two use cases, they are two different. You can't blame any of the parties. It's just more about communication and helping them to even know you more. And those are the circumstances that sort of surround my own life as a human being. Until today, I see myself rise in a way that is slow but is steady, and it's becoming clearer and clearer to the world that this guy has something different about him that catches attention and is definitely going somewhere. And they know the guy is also selfless. They are beginning to see that selflessness, and they know that he's not a subject of FOMO. And all of that in itself has redefined who I am. It has changed my perspective. It has also changed the perspective of certain people. Because in between all of that journey, I've also been betrayed. But my head is always up consistently, because at the end of the day, I ask myself that question, Larry, this whole thing you are doing, is it worth it? Why don't you just go get a job? You will do well. Why are you trying to help people? The people you are trying to help don't even give a damn about who you are or what you are doing. They are ready to even march you to the ground, to the mud, put you in the mud. But I keep my head up and I keep my head straight in doing all I have to do. And today, I can tell it to you that that clarity has helped me to build a sense of purpose. It has helped me to understand that those that we started together have passed me. I don't need to struggle to be with them for the fear of missing out. Those that were behind me, that have also passed me, I no longer struggle to want to catch up with them, because I believe that their own purpose is what is ahead of them. They are pursuing it. I am where I am, telling my own story, understanding my reality, and checking with every of my action towards my own journey. The goal for me is to complete that journey, make that journey impactful, make it interesting, and most importantly, knowing that at the end of the day, I did what I'm supposed to do, not because I want to satisfy people or lobby people or worship people, but because I needed to achieve purpose. And the sweet thing about purpose in itself is that you don't have to think about it from the perspective of people that are moving. Think about it from what is happening around you. And that is one thing. When you lose yourself, you don't know what is happening around you again. When you lose purpose, you don't know what is happening around you. Focus, don't look too much ahead of you. Don't look at people that are running ahead of you. Look at what is happening around you and own your space. And that is what I have successfully done as a human being. And I'm hoping that this small story makes some sense. And I'm happy to answer as many questions as possible.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic. Fantastic work. Please, let's have some reactions coming, please. Let's have some emojis, clapping emojis, thumbs up, heart emojis, please. This has been the past, it has been a very, very fantastic, and we're just getting started. We've not even gotten into the questions that we have for today. Really, 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 really interesting stuff that you've said, DLM, and it's fantastic how your life journey has. I mean, at least let me just give a brief highlighting some of the things that I got. Is number one is to identify who you are, and then number two is, even if you are knocked down, you redefine and you fire on, but then you stay consistent. You stay consistent, right? And then no matter what, don't give into the fear of missing out. Now, let me just ask the first question here, which is a lot of for women, right? Their their own FOMO revolves around, let me say, getting married. And if they get married, the next thing they want to do is have children. Why? Because they are working with a biological clock, right? So when they get married, So the first of all, well, the first one is getting married, first of all. And when they get married, the second fear is getting children. But for a man, it's not really our own clock is not really biological, it's more like mental, because we are like, oh, I'm at this age, I should have done this by now. Oh, I am this age, I should have done this by now. Right? And so that is our own FOMO. It's not a biological FOMO, it's most based on what you should have what you think you should have accomplished at a certain age, at this age, at this age. Now, of course, how do you deal with that kind of FOMO? Right? Just like what you said in your own family, right? This one, I mean, you didn't even have to look far. Your own junior brother was or is doing better than you financially. And so that pressure of, man, I need to step up, I need to double my hustle. Something is, I'm probably missing out on life. What kind of conversation needs to be happening in your brain, in your mind, to make sure that you are not giving in to FOMO? Let's go with that, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So when it comes to, you know, having to meet up with life's expectations, we must understand that there is what we call the conditions of life, society in itself, and your own conditions. So first, the condition of society says that you must go to school and graduate, and then after that you get a job or you do a business, all of that. And if you are not at that a certain age making money, or at a certain age you don't have your own rented apartment, people begin to look at you like, man, you are not existing in the structures of the society. Then the conditions of life, because our stories are told differently, our life circumstances occur differently. Life conditions us at different levels and at different stratums. And if it does not conform with what society expects, everybody sees you like, wow, you don't know what you are doing. Then it comes back to your own conditions. So when those things are happening to you, if life if life's condition restricts you from meeting up with what is happening with in the society, the question you should ask yourself, do you also accept that condition for yourself? Right? And I told you at some point I was following shadows because I now began to live my life based on the conditions of other people, conditions of the society, and conditions of life. Everybody's story can never be the same. It can never be the same. Some people will move faster than you. Some people that are not even up to you, they don't even know what you know. They will not move. And when they move, you are subjected to two things. It's either you own your own reality, or you subject yourself to compromise. And when you subject yourself to compromise, like let me give you an example. In 2016, I lost money in business, which includes other people's money and my own money. And because the pressure was so much, one guy met me. He said, Egmont, you are so good with this your brain. Imagine if you use your brain for Yahoo business. We go do the cash out every day. And I went back. I'm like, should I just do this Yahoo temporarily and make some money? I'll be able to pay my debt. I also move on. I'm like, I start buying. I'm like, but if you do this, you are compromising on your own values. But this is not who you are. You're not a Yahoo boy. Why would you fall for such? Now imagine that if I do not understand myself and have my own conditions for life, I would just be like, wow. Why? Because I see the Yahoos, particular Yahoo guys at that time driving a Benz. I'm just like, this young boy that is not even up to me is driving Benz. Let me also do this. I will be able to get Benz. Now, on the side of marriage, people expect you to get married at a certain point. See, the truth is that everybody set goals, but not all goals are met. When that reality sets in and you are not meeting up with your goals, this is where a lot of introspection plays out. Introspect and ask, is there something you are doing that is not in conformity with your own purpose and journey in life? And be able to fix it, because sometimes it could be that it is by your own doing that you are not meeting up with that kind. But must you subject yourself to pressure because you feel that, oh, I'm not in that space, I need to follow people the way it should be. It could also be that it is not just your own time. That it could be that you have to set your own goals within your own pace. And let me give you an example. There are business people in America that succeeded at 35. Made it, they created names, big business. But there's this guy called the owner of KFC. His name is not popping up.
Colonel
Sanders.
Sanders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Do you know that man set up his own business at a very old age, and it was at that point that he was able to create his own legacy? Now, the question we should ask ourselves, does that legacy still exist today or not? Does it not? It exists. I still had KFC a week ago. And anytime I get into KFC, I remember the story of that man who walked according to his own pace, owned his own space, and changed the game and created his own narrative. And that doesn't mean that he has not tried. Before he got to that point, he was living in his own shadows. But the truth is that the moment you realize yourself, you find yourself. Men need to find themselves, find who you are. When you find who you are, you will worry not about the race that is going on in life. Focus on the pace, not the race. When you focus on your own pace, you understand that it's not about the race. Because at the end of the day, the city just make you crazy. You understand? So I always tell men, and that's what I've come to learn as a human being, that Lanre, own your space and follow the game according to your pace. You will create your own impact. You will create your own change. You will create your own revolution. And I'm following it. I struggle with no man. If you are better than me, that is your own better. It is not my own better. You are the one putting down in the middle of it all. There's nothing better than me. I am me. I am DLM. I own my space. And I'm moving according to my space. So whether you are going to marry, whether you are going to achieve your dreams, people are doing better than whatever it is. Own your space and move according to your pace. Forget the race. Let people be running. That's the problem. Run. But one thing you must never fail doing is that every day when you wake up, take one simple action that takes you closer to that thing you want to achieve. If it is marriage, begin to develop the character that will make you marriageable. Begin to have your savings that will make you marry. Begin to have the structures that will make you run a family. Build those things according to your pace and marry at the time when you know you can handle it and be happy about it. That in itself will make you create even a better history than people that have run ahead of you, because they are running their own race. It is not your race. And that one thing men must always think about is that never ever look at people and use that to judge who you are. Some people are slow learners, some people are slow movers, some people are steady movers, some people are fast movers. Well, does that mean that everybody will not achieve? Everybody will achieve. What you must never do is never lose yourself, because when you lose yourself, trust me, you are gone. That's the end. The end of this whole thing is when you lose who you are. But as long as you do not lose who you are, continue to move. Associate with the right kind of people within the space of your goals. Work every day. Move an inch every day towards your goals. And most importantly, be introspective and be doing your own reality check. Check yourself. How can I make this better? How can I move forward? Doesn't mean that you are not setting the goal. You set the goal, but you are moving. Some people went to steal money to achieve their own goals. You did not steal money. Does that make them better? But they will claim to you that they are better than you. By the time you start running like they are running, you will use your leg, hit a big stone, your head will break. That's the end. You will die, and that's the end. And everybody will say, he's gone. Why? Because you try to be like other people. But you move in your own way, there is no way you won't achieve your goals. So that will be an answer to that.
Okay. Sorry, please, if you have other questions, please note them down. The next question I want to ask is, I want to draw a personal life example. So I have this friend in Computer Village, right? I've known him right from, I would say our friendship now is getting to I would say 6 to 7 years, right? And now he deals on MacBook, he deals on he's the one he deals on, he repairs and sells MacBooks, right, in Computer Village. And it's one of the top names there. Now, when he was getting married about 6 years ago, that was 2019, you know, I went to visit him. I want to talk with him. I say, guy, when I'm so happy for you. I'm now like, so like he moved into a new house in Ikeja to prepare him a 2 bedroom flat in a very top estate in Ikeja, where he was paying as a then whether 1.8 million. That was like cool, man. So I was like, so how much do you need to make to be able to live comfortably in Lagos and marry and do these kind of things? He says, well, for me, averagely, that was 6 years ago. Averagely, I need to make 30,000 naira a day from my work to be able to live a good, like live an average life. Not that I'm flamboyant, but at least I'm able to meet my wife's needs, meet my needs, live in a good house, and drive a good car. I need to make 30,000 per day. I was like, man, okay. And I was like, well, congratulations. But that thing kept turning in my brain. Like, what can I do as somebody that's in the service industry? What can I do that would give me 30,000 naira every day? I kept asking myself that question. Recently, I met him again a couple of weeks back. And I said, man, what's up? It's been a long time. How's your wife? How's everything? Right? He's always updating his status, showing the new car he bought for his wife. And I'm like, man. So, how much are you now making per day now to sustain this your life in the current economy? I wanted to get an update on the conversation we had 6 years ago. It says, well, I've gotten to the 500K per day level. Man, my mind wanted to blow. I was like, man, it just so, I mean, he has gotten to the 500K level per day. And then, I look at myself, I'm like, man, I have not even gotten to the 30K per day level. It was 6 years ago. And I'm like, man, although a friend of mine told me that, look, you are a software guy. You are a software guy. You don't, your own can be that you develop one software and you make 10 million per day. It can happen like that. I've been turning that thing over in my mind. Like somebody has moved from 30 to 500. I've not gotten to 30.
Now you can
So
understand something
how,
about that guy. Okay, go ahead.
so my question around that story is, how do I know I'm doing my best? That I'm
Okay.
not just being lazy. I'm not just making excuses about my own self. So how do I know I'm
So,
doing my best? Yeah, go ahead.
that guy is a guy that has clarity and is applying what we call the law, the law of what we call the arithmetic, progression laws, where he sales, he scales, mm, and it takes it to the next level. You understand? He sales, he scales, and steps up the game. He was at 30K. He knew that his 30K, for him to get to 500K, he has to have 30K a day. From it, he will survive. From it, he will reinvest. He scales the number and he steps it up. He understood his game. He understood his market. He's in Computer Village and he knows that what he's doing is a game of numbers. So he sells, you know, he saves, he scales, and steps up the game. Now, he understood himself and he owned his space. What are you doing today as a man? What are you doing today as a man that you think that you can sail with and not want to be like everybody? It's just like in the startup scene. The moment you set up your startup, you launch a small product. You want to quickly go and raise 500,000 instead of you to even start by raising 50,000. The problem is that everybody wants to be like everybody. And when everybody tries to want to be like everybody will become nobody. For me, it's very simple. If I I have something today. I will look at that thing and I'll say, how can I start small? How can I raise small? Let me raise small. Let me use that small to prove that this thing I'm doing is doable, it's scalable. The same applies to every aspect of our life. A guy that is supposed to be living somewhere in a Pangrove, just because he has 1 million naira cash in his pocket, he will take the entire 1 million to go and rent a house in Lekki. And he has not guaranteed himself how he will get another 1 million. Why? Because he lacks clarity. Instead of him to take 500K to live in Pangrove, and now plan from that space on how he can meet up with 1 million naira to live in Lekki. Even me that I'm like this, I didn't live in Lekki until last year. I was living in Yaba, as big as my brand was. Because I was planning. I was owning my space and structuring. And I had a different kind of goal that me, I don't want to be renting again. I want to own a space. And those are the kind of structures that allow you to determine what you should do now and what you should do next. And in between all of that, guess what? You are not looking at anybody. You are just looking at your goal. So when the focus is on the goal, guess what? You will grow. But when the focus is on other people, on what others are doing, you will fail. When the focus is on the goal, you will grow. It's very important. Sit on your goal and let the goal be the guiding map. How can you start from where you are and how can you scale that up? There is no way you will gain clarity to what you want to do. So that goal, and you start that small, and you are not distracted by expenses, unnecessary expenses, and there's no way you won't grow. I've come to in my own 42 years of living, I have found out one simple secret about life. I see that this thing they call growth is directly synonymous to discipline. So many of us, the moment we experience one small growth, guess what we'll do? We'll bite that growth in a way that we're not supposed to bite it. You are making 500K and you are living in a particular way. Immediately you make 1 million, you will go and live in another particular way to finish the 1 million. Now, the question is that, can you sustain that other particular way you are living? Now, you go and start what you cannot finish. Now, you start what you cannot finish has not finished you. You now have to go and start all over again. And let me tell you the hardest thing in life, starting from 0 to 1 is the hardest. So you must learn to understand that when you move from 0 to 1, what you should be thinking next is how to move from 1 to 2. Not by going to start something that will take you back to 0. Because it will be hard. You must only be remembering that, look at some people. I know one guy. He has a wife, 2 children. When he was making small money, he was just living with his family and they are cool. Take his family every Saturday, everybody is happy. One day, he got a deal, 10 million naira deal. That's why I started carrying girls. The girls now started collecting 200K, 300K from me, 500K. Started telling him their life stories. Started spending money. The thing now led to him having issues in his family. Everything is looking scattered. Now, he was so looking scattered that he now even lost the 10 million naira. I said the source of that money, he lost it. Now he's back again to that old way. He's now humble. So, but why didn't all just use that money to reinvest and make his family bigger, stronger, to empower his wife, to make him more money so that the money will continue to grow in that system? So for me right now, all the money I'm making, I use it to empower my system. And what is my system? My family, my wife, make my children better, reinvest into things that will bring in more money. Look for new opportunities that complement the current opportunity that we generate, that I have control over. And that way, I'm growing financially. As a man, You must actually have your calendar, your human calendar. Your human calendar starts from your mental abilities. You must have mental ability. You must have financial ability, spiritual ability, social ability. You must have all of those things. And you must continue to check. Mentally, am I in order? Financially, am I in order? Socially, am I in order? Academically, am I in order? The reason why I like doing different courses is not only because I want to go and learn, it's because it also exposes me to a larger network. My friend in Scotland is giving me a deal just because we met in school. So the reality is that as a man, while you are following your space, you must also be clear about one thing. You must be clear about your goals. And you must know where distraction lies, because distractions will come. When those distractions come, how are you dealing with them? Do you flow with the distraction? Are you somebody that you are easily distracted? Or you are somebody that is very, very focused? When people ask me, how are you, DLM? I say, I'm alive, I'm very focused. People don't know that that statement is a statement that serves as a mantra for my life. When people say, how are you, I say, I'm alive, I'm very focused. The reason why I say that is because I say that to remind myself that Larry, every day you wake up, it means you are alive. For that day, you have to be focused on your goals. People think it's just ordinary greeting. They don't know it's my own reminder for success. How are you, DLM? I'm alive, I'm very focused. How are you? I'm alive, I'm very focused. I do not lose focus in anything. If I say anything that waste my time, I run away from it. Even to meet up with people, or to when people reach out to me on WhatsApp, if I don't respond to you, it's because at that time you are not my focus. You will not fight me, because when it is time for me, for you, I will come to you. It's just my own way of life. And guess what has helped me as a man? The truth is that when a man is a man, people expect you to live in a certain way. But you must not forget that, one, you must not lose yourself. Number two, you must not lose your dream. Number four, you must not lose your path. There's a path you are going in. Do not lose it. And that is one way that you can step up on your game. Then finally, you must not lose the people that you know truly love you. Because everybody has a cycle, and it is not by blood. That cycle, you must keep it strong. Because your cycle will be your support system. So you must not lose that support system. That makes sense, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much. So, I mean, I'm going to throw the floor open now to anybody that wants to chip in one or two questions, right? I mean, this is your opportunity because we've actually overshot our time. But I mean, this conversation is so interesting. DLM is so engaging. And, when I put out I started posting out the flyer of this particular When Men Talk on LinkedIn, on my WhatsApp status. People were telling me that, yes, you got the right man. You got the right man. That is the person that. So, yes, let us open up our microphones now and start dropping questions. I'm sure that we might have one or two questions, or am I the only one that's supposed to be asking questions? Guys, please, Mr. Justice, thank you so much. Okay, there's Justice and there's Justice. That's fantastic. Right, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Demilade, Mr. Olamilekon Samuel. Let me also check on YouTube if there's any questions on YouTube, any comments on YouTube, and then we will be able to take them. So please, but on the meantime, please open up your microphone, and at least say something. Even if you don't have a question, just at least let's even compliment our panelists for today, and so that we can actually go ahead. Mr. Yusuf, are you saying something? Go ahead.
No, I don't have any question actually.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, any other person? Yeah, I think internet has been messy today. It's not just in my own end. There are a lot of people that have been joining and exiting, joining and exiting. So I'm guessing that it's the internet has really, really been rough. Yeah. So okay, so let me just use this opportunity, right, to just say a little bit about when men talk. Let me just share my screen and just show you something little about when men talk. Just let's just have a little conversation about. So this is like a, how will I put it? Um, like how will I put it? Something like who we are. All right. So when men talk, we're trying to build a stronger community for men around the world. And our mission is to provide a space where men can speak freely, we can learn together, we can find solutions to some of the challenges that are peculiar to men, right? And some of the challenges are not just peculiar to black men, but to men regardless of your race or nationality. And our vision is to be able to start real conversations, be able to form meaningful relationships, and also share practical wisdom. Now, our goals is to first of all start with virtual meetings, which we've started with monthly virtual meetings like this. But of course, we want to just as if that's why I like DLM. I did not even share this slide with DLM, but DLM already has caught the vision of what when men talk should be. He was talking about podcasts, he was talking about social media, he was talking about YouTube, and that's exactly what is in our roadmap. We intend to expand into podcasts. We have our own YouTube channel where we share some of these things, and so that's where we are going, and have a very heavy online presence with it. And of course, we are going to also graduate into physical meetups as well as city tours. So we're going to have When Men Talk Abuja, When Men Talk Accra, Ghana, When Men Talk Nairobi, Kenya, and it's going to go big at that. So what you can do, how can you help? You can first of all attend our sessions, make it a date that every month you set out time to attend our sessions every month. It promises to be very impactful and very empowering, just like you've heard today. Also spread the word within your network. Whenever you see our flyer out, the announcement of, for example, the April edition is coming up, you help us take screenshot of our videos or download our videos, ask for our publicity material, share it on your WhatsApp status, share it on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, just so that more people can join in the community. And as well, please feel free to volunteer your skills as well. And if you see that there's a skill that you have that can help push this vision forward, and of course, you can also speak to me personally anytime about the ways you can contribute towards making When Men Talk bigger and better. So I guess that is just the my own little presentation about When Men Talk, and we're moving forward. So yes, in the absence of any question, let me just ask one more question before we wrap up for tonight. One last question, and that question is, how do we find contentment in our own journey? I think this question is related to the first question I asked already, which is how do you deal with how do you deal with FOMO? Basically, how do you have a level head to say, okay, well, everybody's path is different. The fact that this person is making 500K per day doesn't mean that my own is finished, right? How do we find contentment in our journey, right? Whether the journey is long, whether the journey is short, what mental state should we be in so that we don't run and, like you said, hit our leg against a stone and hit our head and break our head? Yeah, so that's the question. How do we find contentment in our journey?
Okay, so very, very quick one. Very simple. Finding contentment, and this is something I learned as a child. My mom, so my family, when we started, when I, by the time I was realizing myself as a child, I saw myself in three-bedroom flats with my father and mother. So I knew we were good. But by the time I got to 11 years old, my father called all of us one day and said that things have changed, that there's no money, that we all have to move to face me and face you, one room. We're six in family, mom, dad, and four children. So from having a boys' room that is big with a lot of things, we went to one room, we were all tight, sleeping. I sleep on the floor, mom and dad sleep on the bed. We sleep on the floor. All of us will arrange ourselves like standing. And in that space, my mom and dad taught us something. They say, one, don't beg anybody for food. If we don't have food, let's learn to be hungry. Say two, say do not steal anybody's thing. Don't look at other people's thing and desire it. He said three, he said the day we have plenty, let us feast in it. And the day we don't have plenty, let us be sober in it. Let's own our own space. And that in itself has taught me, made me to become one of the most contented human beings on earth. I'm always contented. And how do I do this? Which I will share. I do this by reminding myself that what I have is what I have. What I don't have, I don't have, but I can have it. Number two, learn to appreciate what you have. No matter what you are appreciating, even other people, if their own is far much more better, speak so highly of what you have. Because the day you start appreciating what you have, it's the day the person who will bless you will understand and find you and give you what you need. Number three is own your space. Just own that space. That space that you have, own it and be happy about it. You know, I always say, I used to be an artist. I'm still an artist anyway. And I wrote a song 25 years ago. And the song is titled Contentment. You know, and one of the lines of the song says that contentment is the only option when you know who you are. Contentment is the only option when you know who you are. It's the reason why Jesus Christ did not take that food from the devil. Do you think Jesus was not hungry? He was hungry. But when the devil came, he said, look at the world. Take that bread and eat it. But God, Jesus knew that he is greater than that offering. Because sometimes when you are not contented, you go and take what will choke you. So you must be full of gratitude. Being grateful is one of the fundamental ways to conquer anything and to remain contented in life. So for me, I will sum it up by saying that, see, come, own your space, be grateful, and appreciate what you have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's all give a round of applause to DLM. It has been a fantastic session. We've overshot our time and it's been fantastic. And I hope that you guys also listening both on YouTube and here also on Google Meet, you've also had a fantastic time. And of course, for those that would also eventually watch this also, because we're going to be leaving this stream there on my YouTube channel. I hope you also had fun. You also enjoyed this conversation that has happened tonight. We're looking forward to the April edition of When Men Talk. You're going to, of course, hear the information about it. It's going to be going out on all channels as soon as possible. Of course, thank you so much, DLM, for coming around, for sharing such deep wisdom with us. This actually the most times when we're talking about business, raising funds, money and stuff. But of course, this is actually the first time where we're actually talking about life, and I think that we should actually do this a little bit more often. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Justice, Mr. Demilade, Mr. Olamileko Samuel, and every other person that joined at some point and left as well. Thank you so much for being part of the March edition of When Men Talk, and I hope that you gained a lot. And I hope to see you again in the April edition of When Men Talk. Do have yourself a fantastic and beautiful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, coach. The match edition is,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's inspiring.